Hello, this is Davide Biocchi speaking, and this is my weekly intermarket analysis. Let's start as usual with the euro dollar, that as we can see is in a long-term sideways. More than 1.5 years in between this, let's say, small number of figures, let's say from 1.045 to 1.1112. So the top level here, mainly, let's say, we can say 1.11 and something, okay? So this is where the euro dollar is going right now, and let's say we can expect some more additional movement and more volatility, especially after the decision that the ECB and then the Federal Reserve are going to take within the next weeks. Let's switch immediately after to see what is happening with the US dollar Japanese yen. So another very important situation here. So the US dollar Japanese yen, let's say, currency is showing us that the dollar for a long time was going up and up, but recently the yen recovered a lot, and this very important level is remaining here as a main support. If we will see this currency pair below the level of 130, there will be probably another possibility to go down even more and more. Let's switch immediately after to see some commodities like the crude oil. That's easy to see here. And let's say, just to remind that the crude oil is at the support key level of 67. The market tested this level. Below this, we just have a level of 64 that will work as the last, let's say, opportunity. Otherwise, the market will probably continue going down and down. So this is a relevant price, and let's see what the market is going to do. Let's switch to another commodity like the gold, and the gold is trying to consolidate this new all-time high that recently reached around and above the level of 2,500. So we have seen the market breaking the level of 2,000, then doing a, let's say, pennant with a flag, and then another pennant up here, then consolidated the price for a long time in between 2,300 to 2,430, and then recently another breakout with another flag a little bit above. So more or less, we are waiting for this market, for the gold, to let us know if this flag will mean that later we will continue growing up, or that it could be potentially a target already reached in a certain way. Well, after commodities, let's have a look on stock indices, and let's start with the European one. So the first one is the Euro Stock 50 that is weaker than the other one, that is the DAX, and we will see after. So the Euro Stock 50, let's say, showed us this very important level, and even if the market recovered a lot after this minimum, this bottom that took place in the beginning of August, then the market reacted but was unable to reach the previous levels. So we have in a row here 4 decreasing maximum, very interesting situation here. So let's say that in a certain way we have this area more or less that we can assume as a main support, and it will be dangerous if the market will go below, but it's not behind the corner at that moment. The DAX is, as I told you, more let's say, more strong than the Euro Stock 50. We have seen during the last week a new all-time high recorded during the day. Then the market came down, but it's, let's say, a really better, it has a really better chart than the Euro Stock 50. So this below here, around 17,000, it's something we can consider as the main support, and we are, let's say, now going to a potential test a little bit below the level of 18,000. That is really important here. Let's switch immediately after to the US indices, and let's start with the Nasdaq. And the Nasdaq is really important. Just to say, we have seen that the tech stocks are weaker than the other one, especially for what concerning the consumer defensive one. And that's why the Nasdaq was unable to reach the previous level here, very close to 21,000, let's say, and recently it remained below 20,000. there's a figure here where we have a shoulder, potentially an head, and maybe potentially also another shoulder, but this figure is too young to be confirmed, let's say. It will be necessary some additional confirmation. And especially because if we look at the S&P 500, what we can see here is that the S&P 500 was differently than the Nasdaq, capable of going up and maybe try to test the level above here. So the situation is more interesting here on the S&P 500 because the market went, let's say, on different kind of stocks, as I told, as utilities, consumer defensive, real estate, and this is what the market is interested in this moment. So let's say, assuming these two levels as the main support here and this intermediate level as an intermediate support, let's see if the market will continue moving in between this sideways or not. This is all for this week. Thank you very much from Davide from Italy, and bye-bye.